public meeting. If we would all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Boy, you guys did a great job with the Pledge of Allegiance. You must practice every day, is that right? Keep it up. Great job. Okay, since it's a school night, we're going to ask the special presentation on Jane Ball Robotics to happen first. Brandy, if you could please
Why don't we have a roll call first?
take the helm.
Roll call, John.
We certainly can.
We need to establish a quorum.
Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Here.
Ralph Miller,
Present.
Randy Niemeyer,
Present.
Greg Parker,
Still here briefly.
Richard Sharp,
Here.
Julie Rivera. Here. John Foreman.
Present.
I am present. Jill Mer. Present. David Austin.
Here. Yours.
Thanks, John. In the front rows here we see tonight we have some special guests with us. It was a couple of months ago that myself, Ralph, and Jill were contacted by the principal of Jane Ball, Ryan Eckert, to engage with this Jane Ball Lego robotics team on a project that they were working on about sidewalks in our community. And they also had a robotics portion of it, which I wish we could set up because it was so cool. But the kids did a survey of an audience of people and came up with a list of results of community projects that people wanted to see done that were important to the community. And we dove into this with the kids, and they did an awesome job. When they presented their report to me, I was blown away. I learned more in that report about the sidewalks in the town than what I ever knew. So I'm very appreciative of these young people and their efforts. And talking to the principal, we talked about bringing them to a town council meeting and actually developing a project around these ideas, or several projects. Size and scope yet to be determined, but we wanted to get these things on the books so that we can begin working with these kids and give them ownership of a project that benefits the community. So that's the goal of having them here tonight, is to present what they presented to me and what they did in their competition to all of us in this room and to everyone, all the public. And I'm very optimistic that we'll be able to find some kind of a project this next year to work with these fine young people and get a result that they know that as they grow up that they have their name on and that they help to create. So with that, Mr. Eckert, I will turn it over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Foreman, members of the Town Council, Ms. Murr. Thank you so much for having us here today. We are part of the first LEGO Robotics program, which is a worldwide program, and our age category is 9 to 14. So when we go to competition, we're competing against 7th and 8th graders with our little tiny 3rd and 4th graders. But this past weekend, we competed at the IUN regional tournament. We got first place for robot design, and we placed in the top 7 of the 25 teams there, and we advanced to the state tournament at Purdue Fort Wayne on December 14th.
Wow.
So we're headed there. So we're headed there soon. What you're going to see tonight is 25% of our total package. There's a research component that always involves something to do with your community. And so you're going to hear tonight what the students decided to research, what they found out. And one step of our process is sharing with our community. So we're happy to be here tonight to do that. If it's okay, as each member of the team talks, we'll just have them come up to the mic so that everybody can hear them.
Perfect.
Okay. At the end of the presentation, we have a public service announcement video that is on our YouTube channel, but we are going to act it out today because of the easiest way to hear the information.
Okie doke.
Mr. Mason, come on up.
Hi, we're Hannah for Your Robotics. Today we're going to share a story of how we identified a problem in our community of not enough sidewalks.
We asked our parents and other family members if there is a problem in our community.
We create a list of problems and put them in a survey for other people's opinion. Over 110 people took our survey.
The idea that we do a survey, use results of a survey to identify a problem that most Cedar Lake residents agree on. 86% of people surveyed say we need more sidewalks. Here are the results.
Wow.
Safe Routes to School was a great funded project the town implemented a few years ago. The idea of Safe Routes to School was to give kids to school safely by using sidewalks only. This prevented kids from getting seriously injured.
This allowed kids to get from home to school safely. This also allowed kids to get from school to school safely, but we still don't have enough sidewalks.
The purpose of sidewalks is to put them by banks of the rain, to connect places, and to prevent more people from getting injured or seriously hurt. Why do we need sidewalks? Kids need to be safer, to get place to place, so kids don't ride their bikes or walk on the road. To get exercise, so kids don't get hit by a car, and to get to school safely. We interviewed 3 experts. Jill Murth, the town administrator, Randy Niemeyer, the town council member, and Don Olfen is the town engineer. The total length of current sidewalk is about 240,000 feet or 45.5 miles. New subdivisions have sidewalks on both sides of the street. The cost of sidewalk is $45 to $60 per square yard depending on the overall amount. The total length of the road is 69.3 miles. This means that we have about 95 miles of road in our town that do not have sidewalks. We need sidewalks in additional places in Cedar Lake because there are a lot of kids that live in those areas. There are places in Cedar Lake and where traffic would be, and the areas we put them in are by schools, and schools have a lot of kids.
We have identified 5 new places to install sidewalks based on need.
We group roads in our town into 2 categories, busy roads and less busy roads. We have 2 solutions. For busy roads, we need to install real sidewalks. In order to do this, we need to communicate with the residents how important this is. Our PSA will help with sharing the need on social media and at town council meetings. For less busy roads, we are going to install holographic sidewalks called driver jumpers. These sidewalks are going to be painted on the road. Traffic often does not go in both directions on less busy roads.
Thank you, sir.
Here's an example of how a holographic crosswalk is in Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Have you guys noticed how we have so many gas stations and so many pizza places in town? It drives me crazy. Yeah, you're right. You know what it is? No. Rules? You guys, it's sidewalks. Yeah! Our town was built so long ago, the roads are so narrow and unsafe to walk on without getting hurt. Kids need to be safe. With a dedicated place to walk or ride your bike, kids can be safe. Sidewalks are needed for people to get from place to place. Our town of 17,000 is booming, and foot and bike traffic is increasing fast. Cars travel fast, and this can be dangerous. We should come up with a solution that keeps walkers and bike riders safe, and cars safe too. Lots of kids travel on foot and bike, and it's important they don't get hurt. We have a solution for the short term and in the future. It's new and exciting, and we know it'll help our community. So join us right now and learn more about driver jumpers.
Very good.
Holographic sidewalks are less expensive than traditional sidewalks. They provide
provide a place for walkers, runners, and bike riders on the road. With the illusion in these sidewalks, cars will also slow down, which is a benefit for our entire community.
Thank you.
Great job.
Awesome. Thank you, young, brilliant people. I can't wait for you to take our places up here, honestly. This is amazing to work with you guys. Great job on your accomplishments in the competition. Good luck to you at state. Jill, can we make sure that we continue as we start next year and start planning projects, that we are working hand in hand with this Lego robotics team from Jane Ball to do a sidewalk project and look further into those holographic sidewalks. And Dave, if you can do a little research on the legal side of those from a liability standpoint, I think it would be good to get started with these young people and show them that their efforts and their energy and their research actually can create something tangible. So thank you very much for contributing to this community already, and we really look forward to working with you through this next year in getting these projects off the ground.
Yes, great job. Do you know what town or city presently uses these by chance? Go ahead.
There are a couple places in Europe. I don't know the specific town name. But like we said, in Massachusetts, there's one, but it's a crosswalk.
I see.
And most towns use a crosswalk for something different, but we decided to turn it so it's parallel to the road.
I see. Yeah, I think they've also used them for speed bumps, I've seen. So great research, great idea, and STEM is a great field, so stay with your robotics club. The
You know that
STEM
Mr.
programs are a very,
Foreman-
very good future
Mr.
for all
Foreman's
of you.
career is in robotics. That's what he does for a living, is robotic sales.
That's correct.
And
So-
I'd like to recognize Mr. Eckert. He's the coach of this team and reached out to us, and I really appreciate you doing that. And what a great job you've done with these young kids.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause to Mr. Eckert.
Very fine.
And parents, thank you very much for bringing the kids out here tonight and letting them do this. I think you're going to see these young people that do these sorts of extracurricular things turn into very productive adults and make everybody proud in this community. But as parents, you should be especially proud. You have some great kids.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thanks.
John, if
Go
I
ahead,
could, while we've
please.
got this crowd here, in March of 2020, we've got the United States Census coming up. And for every one of you, you're worth $27,100 over the next 10 years. Cedar Lake back in 2010, we only got 80% of the people counted. So we lost over $20 million. $20 million, we could have done a lot of sidewalks. So I need to have all you kids and the adults here, when you get your census form, make sure you fill them out. Because in 2010, you're only worth $8,260. You're worth a lot more, and you will help our town get more money, and hopefully maybe we can repair some of these sidewalks or build sidewalks in other parts of the town. Thank you.
Very
Thanks,
fine.
Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else?
And if you don't sign your census form, Bob will be coming around to make sure that you do.
Well, all of you can stay if you'd like, but if you'd like to take a couple minutes to
If you want to take some
exit,
pictures
so
or
you can-
whatever, you're free to do so.
Yeah,
We'll
if
give you
want
a
to-
few minutes.
We'll get out of the background if you want to have them all stand here with the sign. I think that'll go a long way.
Guys, nobody cover this. Nobody cover this. Yeah, everybody got the scene. Some people go in front. Go in front. Nobody cover this. But we give us pictures and stuff. No, nobody cover that. No, nobody cover that. Let's show them that. Yeah, he said we had Okay, I'll stay over here. But your back should cover that.
A little bit smaller.
Parents.
Don't let me forget this.
Good group of kids. Awesome group of kids. Smart. Ryan does a great job. Great job. Where's the kid?
Yeah, he left me to be a principal at Hammond, or a teacher at Hammond, and then he became a principal.
I don't think I saw it. I think we should have that page. Oh, no, it's the last, I see it.
We're waiting for the plane to come in from Baltimore, Maryland.
Thank you, John, for putting it at the front of the agenda.
Oh, you bet. No, that's important stuff. They did a great job. Somebody did some serious studying to memorize all of that,
Amazing.
right?
Yeah.
That's quite a great job by the principal and everybody involved there. It's rather great to see. Okay, continuing on with tonight's meeting. Public comment regarding any agenda items. Do we have any public comment regarding any agenda items? Going twice. Public comment for agenda items gone. Moving into the consent agenda, like to make do approval for the claims, all town funds of $131,560.04. Wastewater operating, $74,923.93. Water utility, $11,074.10. Stormwater at $14,720.35. And payroll for 11/27/19 and 11/29/19, $174,219.07. Usage and fee waiver request, Hanover School Penguin Pop, March 7th, for use of the Lion's Den. At this time, if we'd have a motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes, which we will not be doing the reading of the minutes tonight due to the fact that they got moved to the next month's meeting, and therefore just accept the consent agenda as listed.
Question?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Bob made a motion. You can consider a
Motion by
second
Bob?
first.
I'll second.
Question.
Go ahead, Randy.
Listed on the claims, there's A, B, and C construction. Did you read that off?
I don't know that I had A, B, and C construction amounts on the sheets that we had.
On the agenda that was sent to you, that was simply a placeholder during this last docketed claims. There were none for the A, B, or C construction bonds.
Good question, Randy,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so no A, B, and C construction bond claims. So we have a motion by Bob and a second by Julie. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Ordinances and resolutions, ordinance number 1346, a 2019 salary ordinance amendment. Julie, if you could please read by title.
Ordinance number 1346, an ordinance amending town salary ordinance number 1312, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Cedar Lake for the calendar year of 2019, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Jill, would you like to add anything, and/or Jen?
Mr. President, as reported at your last meeting, this is to add the part-time town custodian back into the salary ordinance for the remainder of this year.
Okay,
This would be retroactive to the pay period that began on November 24th, and it was reviewed by David.
very fine. Okay, do we have a motion for ordinance number 1346, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Randy,
I'll second.
second by Julie. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Moving to item number 2, ordinance number 13. Oh, yes, Jill.
Would we be able to consider a second reading of this ordinance this evening?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to
Motion?
suspend the rules to allow for second reading.
So moved, motion by
second
Randy, second by Rick, was it?
Ralph.
Ralph, thank you, Ralph. Ordinance number 1346, please, 2019 salary ordinance, Julie?
An ordinance amending town salary ordinance number 1312, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Cedar Lake for the calendar year 2019, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Greg, second by Ralph. Roll call when you were ready, Jen.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes?
Greg Parker?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Randy Neemeyer?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Julie Rivera?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Moving again then to item number 2, ordinance number 1344, 2020 salary ordinance. If you could please read by title.
Sure. Ordinance number 1344, an ordinance amending town salary ordinance number 1312, establishing jobs and salaries to be paid certain offices, positions, and jobs within the town of Cedar Lake for the year of 2020, and repealing all ordinances or parts thereof in conflict therewith.
Thank you. Jill, would you like to make some statement regarding salary ordinance?
The salary ordinance includes the 2% increase that was discussed during the budget session.
Okay,
The changes to the council salaries, the changes as discussed to the clerk treasurer's base salary.
okay. Thank you.
One amendment that we did notice is the board and commissions. All of those will go up to $100 per meeting. In there, we had some of them at 60. That change was noticed right before the meeting, so that would be an amendment to all the boards and commissions.
So you'd like that as a contingent on the motion?
That would need to be amended in the final adopted.
I think that's a great idea. I've been helping out here at the town for quite some time, a dozen years, I guess. And a lot of times, you know, the boards and commissions were here till 10, 11 o'clock, you know, hashing through things. So I think that's great. So thank you.
And one other item that was added was the part-time firefighter at the request of the chief. It is the same rate as the part-time EMT.
Gotcha.
I would like to comment.
You bet.
I saw on Facebook that our police and our fire are one of the lowest paid in the area. And I'm disappointed to see that we're increasing the town council salary from about a little over 7,000 to 12,000 for the council and 13,000 for the president. I just seems like that's an extreme amount when we can't pay our police and fire.
Bob, they're paid out of different funds.
I
If you look
know.
at distribution, that counts. It matters. 25% is out of general fund. For fire department and police, 100% out of general fund. So distributions are totally different. We can't use wastewater, stormwater, water to pay for other town employees. I agree with you that our fire and police pay needs to come up, but you only have a pot to split up. And that pot is getting bigger slowly, but we need a commercial district developed in this town in a bad way that will help to support a diverse tax base that will allow us to pay more to our public employees. There also needs to be full-scale review of everything that we do in our wage and benefit package to make sure that we're addressing competitiveness in every area. It's something we haven't done. We've been very benefit-rich for a long time and wage-poor here.
Bob, I know you were out of town, but did you just learn of this town council pay increase?
It's the first time I've seen it on paper.
Okay, but
I
you
was
heard about it.
told that it was gonna happen, but I never saw anything in writing. And all I could do was speculate. Jen told me about it.
I have a question. Says you've been a councilman for a pretty long time. So I've been helping out for 12 years, and it's always stayed the same. How many years prior to that was it at this amount? Did you guys ever increase it in your
It
20s?
increased, yes.
Do you have any idea when?
Not off.
I never did the research to know. Okay, interesting.
And we're, you know, it does seem like a large jump because we haven't been getting incremental raises for maybe 20 years, I'm guessing. But we are still the second to lowest paid town and city council in Lake County. I believe Lowell's at 10,000 a year. There was never really a good time to do it, and we've not been getting, you know, incremental increases. When you look at it in one lump sum, yes, it is seemed like a lot, but it's because it's been stagnant for, I'm guessing from what I've heard, 20 years, but you can probably,
You may be right.
so.
Yeah, I think it was 96 or 97, if I remember right, was the last time that was adjusted.
Any other council members want to make any comments regarding anything? Ask for motion for ordinance number 1344, 2020 salary ordinance.
I'll make a motion with the stipulation that it be changed, the boards and commissions all make $100 per meeting,
As well as part-time firefighter.
and part-time
Add it.
firefighter adding
That
that
one is
on.
in there.
That one's.
Oh, that is,
I was
okay, I'm
just
sorry.
writing it
It's in
out.
writing.
I see, I wrote it down, so. Okay, so we have a motion on the table by Julie. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
And we have a second by Ralph Miller. Okay, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
No,
Greg Parker,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer.
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
I abstain.
Okay.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes, motion carries 5-1
One abstention.
with one abstention. Do we want to,
Can't.
well, we
You
can't,
can't.
it wasn't unanimous. New business, 2020 meeting calendar. Jill, if you would, please.
Council, this is your proposed meeting calendar for your boards and commissions. One of the things that had been discussed was possibly moving some of the meetings, the Plan Commission and BZA, possibly up to 6 PM. I didn't know if you wanted to consider any of that. Potentially looking at the utility board meeting that's on the third Tuesday. Maybe having that first and then the town council meeting immediately following. So we would need further direction on that. If you-
I think that's a good idea. That way the folks from Public Works, they put in a long day as it is, getting up early in the morning, working all day. I think it would help them out.
I think one of the things we need to look at doing is also on a meeting-by-meeting basis, evaluating whether or not we need all the staff here. Sometimes we just need an engineer here. Sometimes it's mainly discussion points and progress reports. So I think it's important also to look at the agendas and communicate with our department heads and say, hey, you can keep your guys at home tonight. So that would be
We
good
did
too.
that for this evening.
Yep.
Got a lot going on in the utilities.
That's an understatement.
We do, but it doesn't require 4 staff members every time.
Okay, so do we want to make a change to any of this tonight?
I think we ought to evaluate it with the board members and see if that's okay with them before we start doing
Okay.
something that they may not agree to.
Very fine, so we'll keep the meeting calendar as is. Do we have any other comments and or motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the one as presented now.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, accept what we're looking at,
Second.
and a second by Rick. Any other questions? First and second on the table? Okay, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes.
John Foreman,
Yes,
Greg Parker.
Yes.
Whoa.
motion
that one
carries
was thrown around.
7-0.
I just now realized there was a typo in the agenda there, and we read all the names.
Okay, it all worked out.
It did.
It just throws you when
It
you're
all
used
worked
to
out.
saying everybody's name in a certain order.
I like it. Okay, new Focus HR agreement was deferred from November 19th. Jill, if you would give us an update, what you found?
Council, that item was deferred. The question that had been asked was, would they review a policy from someone else? They absolutely would do that. But if then in turn we decided to have them say rewrite that policy, we'd almost be paying double. We'd be, traditionally, they have written a policy and then the attorney reviews it.
Okay.
They gave some other references on different municipalities that they've done handbook work with. Clarksville, Greencastle, Bluffton, Decatur, Winchester, Washington, Wolcott, Silver Lake, Burns Harbor, Walkerton. The other items on the agreement additionally are kind of an à la carte menu. Some of those we were considering in that agreement were the, bear with me, I lost my page. Outsourced HR consulting services as well as anti-harassment and discrimination training. The anti-harassment and discrimination training, there would be 2 sessions, one for supervisors and one for staff, at an amount of $2,800.
Okay.
Would you read all those other amounts for the public, please?
The employee handbook, to include the development and delivery of a legally compliant employee handbook as outlined, $4,800 for a fixed flat rate fee. There is an optional annual subscription, which would be $125 per year, and this would include updates to the employee handbook as needed, any legal changes that come out, any annual changes that come out. That $125 would cover that change. Outsourced HR consulting, should we have human resource challenges and or projects, they would bill at a rate of $150 per hour. And then project 4 would be the anti-harassment and discrimination training, and that would be $2,800 for the 2 sessions.
So are you proposing all of it?
I was proposing all of it.
Project 1, 2, 3, and 4?
There are some other à la carte items that we'll be looking at and considering, such as I-9 audits, employee files, different hiring processes, onboarding, little things that could help improve the procedures that we have in place now.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion
Go ahead.
to approve this proposal, but only for projects 2, 3, and 4. Our town attorney is working on a employee handbook update free of charge to the town. We don't need to spend the $4,800 on it.
Okay, we have a motion by Randy.
I
for
second.
Option, project number 2, 3, and 4, rather, and a second by Julie. Any questions? Randy and Julie. Roll call, please, Jen.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes?
Greg Parker,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Yes.
Julie Rivera,
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Does that work for you, Jill?
That'll work.
Thank you. Item 3, 2020 Hanover Township Fire EMS Agreement. Mr. Oshchin, I guess I would first ask you if there's anything that you want to comment on regarding this.
I haven't looked at it. I wasn't asked to look at it. It's on this agenda by your call,
Okay,
not by the request for review or preparation of it.
okay. Jill?
As directed, I had reached out to Kevin, we had a discussion on this. It's the same as last year,
Is it identical?
identical except for the dates have changed.
Okay. Kevin, do you want to make any statements? Thank you for coming, by the way. And if you want to grab the microphone and bring up anything or add anything, we'd appreciate it.
No, like Jill said, we discussed that the contract is identical to last year, the amounts are the same. I'm giving you everything I got as far as in our fire EMS and our LOIT funds that we have.
Okay.
So you're getting everything of that. Just so you know, we have worked on some things this year. We actually got a 3% increase from the county on our LOIT funds, which we're gonna get next year, so they approved that. I got all the township trustees together and we requested it and it was approved.
Good job.
We also we raised our fire team back to its max levy for next year also, so our fire team will go in from a little under 50,000, we'll be taking in a year to over 65.
That's,
So we're gonna have more money coming in there. We did take a little hit with the tax caps, we lost about 15,000 out of our budget, so we're kind of trying to balance some of that out. But we're trying, and we appreciate the service you guys have provided us, the fire department's provided us in the past. I know it's been a long time you guys have provided these services, and I hope you will continue to do it.
Very good.
Thanks for all your
If you
work.
have any questions?
Mr. Toth, is the language of this basically just, and Jill, have you reviewed the language from last year compared to this year as far as it's verbatim?
I typed the document, yes.
Okay, it's the exact contract as last year. with the
Well, it's
same-
one of the things that's, like, I'm sure that you would do the same with contracts, is you like to have your attorney review contracts, and Dave hasn't reviewed them, and traditionally, we don't approve contracts without a review by our attorney. But if it's a verbatim contract, I'm not as worried about it, if that is,
It was
for the
sent in
record, a
packet
verbatim
too,
contract.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, all we did was change the dates, the amount stayed the same, because I said we don't have any more money than we had last year at this point. So hopefully, like I said, with the increases, maybe we can do better next year.
You bet.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this after our legal has an opportunity to look at it. And if he finds no problems, let it be approved.
We have a motion on the table by Bob, contingent upon the attorney checking off on it.
Is that what you
Yes.
meant, contingent on?
Yes.
So, go ahead, I'll wait for a second.
Do we have a second to Bob's motion?
I'll second it. That's fair.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Is that contingency authorizing the signatures tonight by the town council? And then
After legal review.
well, so then it would basically be deferred to the next meeting at that point. That doesn't make
Well,
any sense.
Unless,
If he reviews it and he sees no problem in it, then we can go ahead and sign it.
Well,
We can lay it on the table like we do with any other
We,
document.
we could sign, well, what we've done with other documents like this that have that sort of contingency is we sign it the evening that we approve it with the contingency, and then it becomes a transferred document once the legal review is done and he's checked off on it. If there's no changes, if there's changes, it has to come back to the next meeting.
Right.
so are
Okay.
you good with that being added
Yes.
to your?
That's,
All right.
that was my intent.
Gotcha, okay, I just wanted that clarified, thank you.
I concur.
So Greg concurs with Bob's changes, okay? Anyone else?
I got another question. Hey, Todd? Are you okay with all of this?
The exact same contract.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm fine.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Greg Parker,
Yes.
Ralph Miller,
Yes.
Randy Neiman.
Yes,
Richard Sharp.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank
Kevin.
you, Kevin. Moving into reports. Town council, does anybody have anything else they want to add?
Just this announcement from the Cedar Lake Boys and Girls Club. Tomorrow, they're having a ribbon cutting, and it will be from 4 to 5:30 tours. It's of their new club gymnasium. And at 6 PM, a police versus firefighter dodgeball game. So everybody should come out and look at the new gym and watch that game.
Bill, you look surprised.
Well, you're in, right? Tomorrow.
I see Chief Colson in the audience. Maybe he wants to come back and join the
Maybe he's the leader of the dodgeball.
ex-Chief Colson. Okay, so anybody else with the town council?
I have something.
Go ahead, please.
The police department this past weekend put on Memory of Life and that for Paul Zimmerman. You guys did a great job. It was fabulous. I mean, you couldn't get a parking spot in the church parking lot and that. And the people that came out, I mean, wow. I mean, we had people here from California, you know, and my sister came in from Arizona. You know, it was unreal.
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry I missed it, and I can honestly say that Paul Zimmerman was one of those guys, having grown up here and then moved back to the area, you never saw the man without a smile on his face. And you know, it's a testament to the character that he was and the service he provided us, and he really was. You know, you say these guys are just great guys, but he really was just the greatest guy. And it's tough for a community to lose such a great human being, so.
I also wasn't able to go. I was in Nevada with my son for Thanksgiving, and I'll just tell a little story. I walk out the back door here of Town Hall, and there's Paul sitting in his car, and he says, "Come on, get in my car with me." So I go and get in the car with him, and we head down to 100 and, I think it's 159th or so. And he says, we've got somebody watching on the north end of the town, and we're gonna watch on the south end of town. And if we see a tornado, you and I are gonna jump out of the car and jump into the ditch. So I had no idea where we were going or what we were gonna do, but that's what we did.
You were tornado chasing with Paul Zimmerman.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, guys. Mr. Austin, do you have anything?
No reports.
Okay. Jen, please.
I will make the updates to the salary ordinance as discussed earlier this evening, and I anticipate having some budget reductions on the next agenda.
Okay. Jill?
Roundabout is open.
The roundabout is open. Good job keeping on him, Tim Kubiak. Where is he? And Jill,
Done, everyone.
unbelievable. Great job
Done, everyone.
staying with NDOT and Structure Point. And actually, I'd like to thank you for pushing us to make the decisions we made, because the short-term pain is much better than having those guys hit head-on this February with those lighting systems. Not to mention you saved us $300,000. So great advice, great suggestion, and awesome.
He kept staff out there too until NIPSCO got out there to get the power to the lights, so.
Is that right? Wow.
And I'd like to thank NIPSCO for musical polls throughout the project. We appreciate the delays and the professionalism.
Anything else, Jill? Are you good?
No, however, we do have some staff reports.
Yes, please.
Good evening. Interim Chief Hardingham couldn't make the meeting tonight because of the case that he caught last night. He's still working on it next to our station. So,
Wow.
The reason that I'm here tonight with Chief Colson, the new director, if you could look up on the board here, there's a little project that I'm asking that the town council approve help through the street department. If you're looking at the, it's kind of difficult to see. Can you hit the PowerPoint button on the bottom?
We can shut the lights off.
Yeah, we might be able to do that, sir.
Hit F5, and it'll make a full screen. There you go.
So what you're looking at here is MacArthur Elementary. Part of our issue recently when Chief Colson left and went over to Crown Point, we had an issue at the school that has actually been going on for years. On the west side of the property there, as you can see in the blue line, that is a fence line that runs from the north side at 129th Avenue all the way down to the property that butts up with the Boys and Girls Club property. And then it comes directly east all the way towards Fairbanks. If you get the next slide for me. We took some aerial photo shots for you to show you part of our problem. You can see that the woods are right there. There's some property there that is to the west. But the problem is this. The woods have grown past the fence line for about, would you say, 30 feet in some spots? So about 30 feet in some spots. So we had a big meeting with Crown Point because the other issue we were having is we couldn't see the playground at nighttime at all. From Fairbanks, from 129th, we can't see it at all because it's so dark back there. So Crown Point did some research. They realized that they need to correct some of the fencing problems that are there. They also realized that there's some lighting issues there, so they're in the process of Leedsburg rate, where they're going to put up some huge spotlights to light up the park because we're having some drug issues and things like that on the park from kids. We've also chased a couple of kids in the last couple of months back into the wooded area, but the problem is they can get into the park at nighttime and we don't think that's necessary. So they did also some research and found that it would cost them about $80,000 to cut the trees down that actually grew on the other side on MacArthur's property. Being that that's a huge cost, during our conversation, I asked Mike, if he could just cut it back, cut the grass down, not your Mike, a different Mike. And he's like, I would love to, but we don't have that equipment. They have just regular grass cutting machines, they don't have a bush hog. So I said, I talked to Tim, and I've also talked to Jill about it. What I'm asking the council to do is approve one of our, public works guys to be able to cut some of the brush with a bush hog from the public works back, which is more cost effective for Crown Point as well as a safety issue for the students there, so that we can see into the woods a little bit better. If you could hit a couple more slides for me, you can see it a little bit more in depth. Right there is the 129th Avenue on your right-hand side there, and that's the entrance coming into the back of the school. What I'm talking about is, go ahead, hit the next slide. What I'm talking about is that brush line that's right in that area. Go ahead, hit the next slide. And I'd like to show you if I want to walk over and show you. So this is the brush line that we would like to cut back, right here. The fence is right here, okay? And it comes like this. A simple bush hog will knock this down right now, and because it's not growing right yet. But in the summertime, you can't see the fence at all because it is so thick. So our goal would be to, they're gonna bring their people in, make sure it's cleared out, so that all we have to do is run a bush hog through it. But I need your approval to allow one of our town bush hogs to go in there and cut it down.
And then vac it, Tim? Is that what you're planning? Use the vac as well, to grind up, or
The
just
chipper?
cut?
Just cut it down.
Just cut it?
Skid loader with the brush mower will grind it all up.
I see,
Because they're huge thickets.
I see.
And that's the problem. And they don't have, the Crown Point, Mr. Lasker was gonna be here, but he couldn't. They don't have the equipment to do it. So we started talking, Miss Buckle's completely on board with this. Everybody knows Miss Buckle. She's been there for 25 years, I think, something like that. She's been asking to have it done, but the problem is they don't have the equipment for it. So, they're in the process of doing the whole lighting thing, which is gonna cost quite a bit of money, as well as replace a bunch of fencing, close some of it off. They also work hand in hand with the Boys and Girls Club. They're gonna make sure their gate stays open so that, because the Boys and Girls Club actually use the property, I think, for soccer from time to time.
Sometime.
I think so. So they're gonna still work with them to make sure that stays open for them. They're gonna, try to work some of that out, but our problem is the bush hog. We need a bush hog, and it's a public works thing. So I talked to Tim, he said I gotta bring it in front of you guys, so that's what I'm doing tonight.
Very good.
I feel that, looking at what we've established here, I think it was back in 2013 when we established something for building permits as it related to other public entities, as a way to kind of reduce impact on certain large projects. This is another idea and opportunity to partnership with other taxing entities. So to me, it kind of fits in with what we've already started. And I don't see any issue with it, especially bringing it to the council before anything was approved and done. Gives everybody a chance to look at it. It makes sense from a safety standpoint for students, which is part of the duty of everybody here is to provide for public safety. So
Sir,
that makes perfect sense to me.
thank you.
No objections.
I'd like to amend the agenda to discuss it and see if there's.
I'll just make the statement that we're gonna amend the agenda to put MacArthur School brush clearing.
I don't know, Mr. Colson wanna say something real quick? I almost called him.
Hi, Dave.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good to be back and see all of you. One of the things that I've been charged with is doing threat assessments and site surveys of all the properties in school. And one of the things, first one that I did, want to address was MacArthur. And it is a safety issue from many aspects. I think in the last probably 6 months, there's been several police calls to the playground area as well as the adjacent wooded area for drug activity, partying and whatnot. And there's also been a lot of vandalism to the playground equipment over the years as well. So, in looking at from a safety standpoint of potential active shooter scenario or intruders on the property, there is an impediment with having that brush there. So we were in discussions, obviously with Commander Fisher and the police department to try to come up with some resolution to that. As was mentioned by Commander Fisher, the lighting project will start over Christmas pretty significant lighting that'll be on from dusk to dawn, so it'll be constantly on, and I think that'll alleviate some of the vandalism issues as well, so. As a partnership, we would, be very appreciative if we have the consideration to help us with the removal of the brush. Thank you.
Dave, I would just like to add, have the lighting folks maybe check with Michelle just to make sure the lumens that get transmitted are within the, because the plan commission, when we do subdivision, there's rules, and I'm sure Crown Point knows
Tim had
a lot of that.
question.
Tim?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talk about a lot at plan commission, so it's something that,
And I know it is part of the ordinance, I will check on that tomorrow and get back to you on that.
you got it. Yeah, I would say just let Michelle know and/or Jill, that'd be fine.
Appreciate the consideration.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Bill.
You bet, Dave. Thanks, Bill. Okay, so MacArthur Brush Clearing Project has been added to the agenda.
Make
Do we have a
to
motion?
approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Randy to approve. Second by Greg. Roll call, please.
Robert Carnahan,
Yes.
Greg Parker,
Yes.
Ralph Miller.
Yes.
Randy Niemeyer.
Yes.
Richard Sharp.
Yes.
Julie Rivera.
Yes.
John Foreman.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Tim, for this, agreeing to knock that out with one of your employees. I guess we're at written communication. Cedar Lake Historical Association has a letter. It's on the back of our packet if you guys want to look at it. To whom it may concern, we recently hosted a haunted attraction at the CLHA Museum in the adjacent town grounds. This event, Nightmares on the Museum, required the help of several town departments. I want to extend our gratitude and thank everyone that helped out with the effort. The assistance we received made the event a true success. I was especially impressed with the town administrative staff and event advertising in the town newsletter and online social media. As a result of working together, we welcomed over 500 visitors on the grounds during the 4-night event. We look forward to partnering with the town in the future to ensure that Cedar Lake is a great place to explore, relax, and stay. Sincerely, Jimmy Laud Jr., President, CLHA Board of Governors. Thank you, Mr. Laud, if you're here and/or if you're watching, and if not, to the whole group. I think they're doing a good job over there, and it's cool to see the changes that have been taking place. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Please come state the name and address for the record.
Joel Dixon, 8711 West 132nd Place. First of all, I'd like to thank you for waiving the fees for the Penguin Plot. The second comment I'd like to make about the meeting time at 6 o'clock. For people, the numerous people that commute back into town now, 6 o'clock makes it very rough for meetings. I'm involved in a lot of organizations, and we kind of stayed 6:30 to 7 o'clock. So I understand you're thinking of your employees, but I also think you need to think about the people you serve, that they may not be able to get to the meeting at 6:30. If you need your presence.
Okay.
Thank you.
Point well taken. Anyone else with public comment? Please.
Hey guys, doing this evening, Pat Clary, 15714, West 101st Place.
Hi, Pat. How you doing?
I am also here, I'm here as an employee, but I'm also here as the union president of 5141,
Okay.
representing, and, actually, Chris Crafty is vice president. We were supposed to go to a district meeting in Michigan City tonight, but we felt it was more important to come here and, state our disappointment in the salary raise that we're giving 2%. Appreciate your noticing that, Mr. Carnahan. I went home today, and I started to jot down some notes about what I was gonna say tonight, and I was looking at the notes, and I don't look like the same notes I wrote in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the territory, you guys remember the territory that fell flat on its face? And then there was a backup plan. That didn't happen either. We had no backup plan. So here we are, 2 years later, the public safety is getting ignored again. We're purely kicking the can. Kicking the can to get to 2021, excuse me. We're kicking the can to 2021, and I would be doing my job if I'm showing my disappointment in it. And I'm mainly here to establish a dialogue with Chris here, is working diligently on a contract, which we were gonna present probably to the newer council February sometime.
Okay.
So we can, have some sort of a contract committee, so give you initial draft, what we want, what we need,
Mhm.
and what I should say what we want, our
Yeah.
needs, what the town, what the town needs. Parity among our chiefs. We work a 24-hour shift and we get 8 hours of holiday pay. You know, we're paid like, that, in a sense, we built like the town employees. Things, more manpower. newer equipment, which I've been trying to do a few things recently to get some newer equipment that hasn't changed in 2 years at all. My notes here tonight are the same as they were 2 years ago. We're kicking the can again for 2021. Okay, I'm sorry about you feeling stagnant about your pay raises, but 25 years ago, Cedar Lake was one of those towns that had low rate of pay, and it's the same way today.
Yep,
It's the same fit. And I understand the different pot, you gotta find a different pot. There's things here, we have people leaving here.
Where are the
this
pots,
department-
Pat?
This department is heritage.
Where are the pots?
We get new people here, right? And these new people don't have the experience that some of these guys got.
Mhm.
So you put the town in jeopardy of new people that don't know addresses, don't know how to work pumps, different things that are going on.
Yeah, it's,
And that's an intangible that you can't really put a price tag on.
yeah, it's a
It's
mess.
something needs to be fixed, it's a problem. And again, I'm here mainly to establish a dialogue with the new council to say, we're gonna work diligently with the council, not
Yeah.
against them, to get some sort of agreement so that we can all come together and get parity amongst the chiefs. We feel our chief should be paid the same as police chief.
Mhm.
We have an officer who's Indiana State Fire Officer of the Year. He's paid like a private in any other department. That's crap, I'm sorry.
Yep.
This man's knowledge base is amazing. And it's not right. And it hasn't been fixed in 2 years, and it's not gonna be fixed in another year.
Mr. President, can I ask Mr. Scolari a
You
question?
absolutely can.
In your research on your contract and work on the contract proposal, part of that is obviously learning about the revenue streams and how that contract will be paid for, because obviously in Indiana, unlike Illinois, we can't tax whatever we want to tax. We have a limited amount of money to work with in our general funds. The levy can only go so far. And so I want to know what other pots that you're thinking of that
That's a
right off the
standard
top of your
answer.
head.
I understand when was it-
Well, it's not an
when
answer, it's a
was it-
question,
when the
Pat.
levee breaks.
It's a question.
There's a certain amount of litigation that's gonna be, we get an ambulance call, the town's uncovered, there's not enough people, right? We have constantly, and talking with Joe Murrow here about some of the equipment, we're putting Band-Aids on a lot of the equipment. There's the safety issues there, it's the things that have to be addressed that aren't being addressed again.
Pat,
Give me
I
the can.
disagree with you. Says, because in 2013, when this department was merged into the town, you had 6 full-time members. As of this budget for this next year, you'll have 12. The budget has nearly doubled in that time frame as well. So for the slow growth of our tax base, we've done pretty well as compared to the growth of our tax base in investing in the department.
I understand the issue.
So I don't appreciate the thing about it being crap or things like that, because you
I'm
can't
sorry,
compare
but-
us, you can't compare us to other communities that have different tax bases than what we do. We're mainly a bedroom community, and God forbid, when I presented a downtown project here in 2017, people's hair caught on fire. We can't do that. No way. That's too big a thinking. We can't have a commercial district like that and destroy the quaint little town we are. Well, it's the only way we're gonna be able to address some of the things that you're talking about. And we have bought equipment. Since 2013, we bought a new ambulance, and we just bought a ladder truck. And the township's invested in a good bit of equipment too. So we're doing the best we can right now. If you think that we're shortchanging you somehow, it's garbage. We're not.
Well, these are things
Every
that
bit
the-
of effort's being put
these are
into
the town
it.
needs, it's not what the fire department needs.
I understand, Pat,
Yeah, you
and
can see I'm very passionate about what's going on.
And I am
want
too.
to fix this. And I think that, again, just establish a dialogue with the new council about working together, not against each other, about getting some sort of agreement, a contract for all that work. Now, there'll be several different drafts to submit. Now, we're gonna have a contract committee, and then maybe there's something in the council we're gonna have the contract committee as well.
My goal is, with the completion of our version of it, is to meet with, 4 of you guys and just open a line of communication between us. We're not demanding things. I don't want it to ever seem like that.
Sure.
It's open that, here are things that we feel that we need, and at least we'll be able to just come to you guys and say, how does this work along with your line items, with your funding? It's not to sit here and say we don't receive anything, because this department is, speaking on behalf of the fire department, I love this place, and I love working with these guys. But the fact is we've had somewhat of a revolving door.
Yep.
As you can see how many people are
Training ground.
sworn in. Sorry, it's expensive. We lost another guy today,
Hmm.
another full-time member to a neighboring community. I don't wanna see that. In the past 5 years, we've lost over 10 full-time guys.
You bet.
That's a fact.
No, I know, it's probably more than
But,
that.
but one of the
Yeah.
things in any
It's-
sort of dialogue is you gotta give to get too.
Correct.
So there has to be a willingness to bend, because to this point in conversations with your chief, there's never willingness to bend on any of the benefit package that would help us to create margin to be able to supply the cash needed to pay people.
Well-
Chief has done a great job, but we've never moved the needle on this. I attempted to do it 3 years ago, and people thought it was draconian, that I was robbing Santa Claus by saying, you know what, we need to look at our benefits package to loosen up cash to actually pay people wages, because you still can't go to the grocery store with an insurance card and buy groceries.
You're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are.
No, there's a limited pot here, a limited pot.
You wanna charge us more for benefits, but you
No,
don't wanna pay-
if we want to compare to other communities, look at what other communities do on benefits. We're the
You're
Cadillac.
talking the wrong guy, 'cause I'm pretty familiar with what other communities.
Right, we're the Cadillac.
Don't, as far as what?
As far as our health insurance,
As far as Crown Point, that only charges their employees $5 a month for insurance?
well, they might be the number
And
one.
they give, and when those guys retire from Crown Point.
You're comparing us to
they
Crown
have-
Point's
they have
tax
insurance
base.
and
Hey, guys, let's not have this
You're
debate here
comparing us
tonight.
to Crown Point's tax base,
Let's
which
not
is
have the
totally
debate
different.
here. I think,
Totally different.
hold
Totally
on a
different.
second, hold on a
Apples and
second.
oranges.
Pat's got the microphone. You're welcome to speak next if you want. It's totally no problem. But I think the intent is solid. We are here for public safety. Every single town is formed for public safety. We are sick and tired of watching our guys leave, the EMTs, the firemen, et cetera. We have become a training ground. The same thing has occurred over the last 20 years with the police department. We understand our situation. It's very, very complicated from the standpoint of we do not have that, as Randy mentioned earlier, that tax base. Had we been able to have been successful with that annexation, we were only going up to the railroad tracks to the east, which would have allowed us to lure some businesses and industries out of Illinois, right along the US 41 corridor. We believed then, and I still believe, that the Iliana Expressway connecting 57, 65, and 55 will occur. And it'll happen, I believe, within the next decade. That all being said, we lost the annexation,
We lost the
and we took a swing at it. Then we said, okay, we regrouped, this group of people up here. We regrouped, we said, all right, we got it. Let's do this fire territory thing. It's our Band-Aid to the real issue. The real issue is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And we just don't have the tax base of the BMW dealership and the Targets and the Walmarts and things like that. It's frustrating. It's awfully frustrating. We never wanted to, when we took the EMS from the town and merged it with the fire department, we never wanted to even think about, look at, review, privatizing that. We needed firemen. We are here for fire protection during the day with you guys, doing the great job you do. It's very, very difficult. I think your idea of we used to have a safety committee, and we disbanded it about a year ago. And we had different types of committees, and Randy always brings it up. It was a clever way to take 3 people, get together with the folks at the fire, the police, and have discussions without having to have a public meeting, because if you have 4 people or more, it's a quorum. So I feel as though, I'm glad you came up here and brought up what you brought. Sometimes blood pressure being raised and debate is good, and I just don't want it to not get off the ground. Let's hear what you come up with, and we'll educate you on what it is we work with and how it functions in the general fund and things like that. And I think it'll be, I think it'll be successful.
And get this ironed out so it fixes the issue.
Yeah.
I understand the revenue issues as
Mhm.
well, but it's come to a point where, again, the department is hemorrhaging, and
Yeah.
it's causing safety issues for the people, because you got a lot of FNGs out there, don't know what they're doing, and they've experienced people leaving. And it's intangible that you can't put dollars on.
No, you
And I
cannot.
will agree 100% with what Mr. Foreman said and what you're saying, Pat. 100%. There's no argument there. How we get to that point is where the devil is in that details.
Okay.
And I think that all of you saw that are on the fire department, when I had that gavel that John had when we were going through the fire territory process, I fought my ass off for you guys, and I'll continue to
We
do
all
that.
did.
And we all did. We all care. I just don't ever want to see people thinking that we don't care about it or that we're flippant about it, because it's a part of discussion all the time. Public safety is 75% of our general fund. It takes up most of what we do in that levy. So we're going to continue to pursue that, and I look forward to that dialogue with you guys.
Yep,
Thank you, Mr. President.
you bet. Anybody else want to say anything? Anyone else in the audience state their name, address for the record? Public comment? Going once? Twice? Public comment is closed. And what is it, 8:10, adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
We have a short, special utility board meeting, one item on the agenda.
Going right into it.
I guess not. Let's get the folder to sign.
What? Oh, I thought it was yours, sorry. I thought it was yours that was there.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, who's the council president?
Okay.
We have to, I'll redraft
Well, I couldn't look it up, it wouldn't show it to me. No. Thank you.
How you doing? Doing good.
Huh?
How you doing, Bill?